Hi. So there's this malware that's been going around, attaching itself to Maya files, and it's calling itself a vaccine. So I'm going to show you what it is and how to get rid of it. So first we're just going to look at how the virus is spreading itself, what signs to look for. Then we're going to look at options that are presented to us that don't involve having to use the Maya security tool plugin, which we'll talk about later on. So this virus doesn't seem terrible at first glance, but there's just kind of this mystery around it, and you really shouldn't welcome it onto your computer. It claims to clean up some infected files that have specific Maya viruses attached to it. It's just kind of hard to know whether that's true or not. So the best option is really to just not have it. The way you're most likely going to get it is by opening up an infected scene that you've downloaded either from a friend or like a file sharing website. So because the virus spreads through Maya files, it attaches itself on like the scenes. So it's like if you're thinking of purging your settings or just uninstalling and reinstalling, that's unfortunately kind of a waste of your effort because it's a scene-based transmission. It's not. It hasn't just infected your core or anything like that. So how to tell if you have an infection? So there's an easy way to check, and I'll show you guys. So here I have my script folder. This is where I keep all my Maya scripts that I have. So right now everything looks pretty normal, but I'm gonna open an infected file here, and now you see that 2 new files have been created up in my script folder. Sorry. So that's the first way of knowing if you have the infection is just to check your script folder. So if you see a vaccine file and a user setup file right next to each other, then that's probably a sign that you have it. Another way of checking is to just open up your expression editor, which is in under animation expression editor. And if I go in by script node name in the select filter, then you'll see I have breed gene and vaccine gene in there. So that's a sign that your scene is infected. And then if I were to save this scene, you'll notice in the help line I've got a warning that's in written in Chinese characters. The message is basically saying that your scene is clean, and if your scene is not clean, it would pop up an error saying that your scene is not clean and that it made a backup for you. So that's kind of the idea of this quote-unquote vaccine. But like I said earlier, I wouldn't say it's disingenuous, but it's just kind of hard to see if it actually does that, because if we open up the actual file here of the vaccine, it's got like a couple of things. Like it just doesn't feel right to me. It kind of feels a little bit weird, just because I didn't ask for it, I didn't want it, and it just kind of got given to me by a friend, unfortunately. Yeah. So there's only one real way of getting rid of it completely on a computer, and it can be a pretty long process depending on how many files you have that are infected. But the process itself is like super simple. So you don't need to open Maya even, but this option is working on the assumption that you are saving your files in a .ma format. If you're saving under an MB format, then you'll probably either have to find another method, which I'll discuss later, or you have to just save your file as an MA, delete the MB, and then go from there. So yeah, again, super simple. So I can actually close Maya right now. The first thing we're going to do is we're just going to delete these 2 files here, the user setup and the vaccine file. So I'm just going to delete those. So that doesn't solve the problem. What's going on is that these files are being created because there's some lines in your scene. So if I open my character here, and I can edit it with Notepad++, but I'll just go with just regular Notepad, I guess. Just since everyone has it. So this is your MA file. So this is pretty much the history of your whole file. It has everything that you've done in it, basically. So yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to find, by pressing Control F, we're just going to edit here. We're going to find the word vaccine. So we found it here. And as you can see, there's create node script, vaccine gene, and create node script breed gene. We're just going to want to take the bottom of these lines. So this create node section is this, and this create node section is this, right? So we're just going to want to take both sections here. We want to delete it. We're going to save this this file in Notepad. So you see here, my turtle modeling 33 has been saved. So now I can open Maya again, and this time when I open the scene, it should be pretty good. So now I'm opening my scene. I'm gonna look. Script editor is fine. And if I look again at the expression editor, we only have this, the same one as I had before. So that's my scene is clean. That's kind of the only way to do it, to get rid of it completely on a scene. There are other options, however. So the first option is to just get the Maya security tool. So this Maya security tool had because Autodesk is aware of the situation and they're aware of the problem. So they've already addressed it within the tool, so you can just kind of download the plugin, put it in, and just use it. I haven't used it personally. I haven't really had a need for it, and honestly, I don't know. It's just I don't need the plugin that much, but maybe I should get it. But anyways, and the other option is someone already pretty much made a video about it. Let me just pull it up real quick. So Joel Benjamin made a video about it, and basically goes through it. So I would suggest you watch the video if you don't want to go through all your files and deleting it. Basically, all it does is it goes through the files. So you go through the user setup file and the vaccine file, and you just kind of change the code inside of it so that when your scene that is infected does look for the script, it doesn't really do anything because the script is basically empty. The only problem with that is it's great for you, but it kind of sucks for everyone else because you're still propagating the virus along your file. So if someone else opens your file, then they're going to have to do the same thing and so forth. So the best way to do it is to just go in your file and getting rid of the lines. And that should do it, really. So basically, just to reiterate again, so just find yourself the infected file. Just open with a Notepad or something. Control F to find vaccine. Should take you right to it, unless you have something else in your scene that's called vaccine, then you have to search for it. But this should take you right away here. Just take these lines, backspace, save. That scene is purged. That's really all it takes. So if you have a lot of files, it can be tedious. You might want to make a batch file to do the process itself, if it works. I don't know. But if you just have a couple of files that you know are infected, then that's the solution, and that's pretty much it. Hopefully this helps anyone out. If not, sorry.